Good morning, everybody out there on YouTube. How are you? Letting you in early as always, because you are the special people. The special people that come every day and get here on time. You're just amazing. Who always see who is first. Everybody fights for that. Hey, Hugh. Good morning. How are you? Just talking to see who is going to be first today, and it looks like it's going to be you. Let me know if you can hear everything okay. I'm going to let Periscope and Facebook in now. Everybody. Good to see everybody. Good morning, Periscope. How are you? Utah, good to see you. Sally, good to see you. Please swipe and invite. Hey, Huey, good to see you. Freebird, how are you? Barbara, good to see you. Good morning, good morning. Great, Hugh. Thank you for letting me know that. Biz Tech, good to see you. Thank you for inviting your followers. We'll get everybody in and then we'll get started. Certainly is a lot going on. Las Vegas Gal, good to see you. Good morning. Marcia, how are you? Well, I'm glad that you picked me. I feel honored. Checked in notifications were off. Uh-oh. Hey, Kafefe, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for swiping and inviting your followers. That's great. Okay, so let's get started. I wanted to start off this morning. Hey, Seth, good to see you. Thank you, Hugh, for all the hearts. Barbara, thank you. I wanted to start off this morning just quickly reading you some out of Proverbs 19. So if you want to follow along, not going to read everything. Thank you, Barbara. Okay, so Proverbs 19. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one who is perverse in his lips and is a fool. Also, it is not good for a soul to be without knowledge, and he sins who hastens with his feet. The foolishness of a man twists his way, and his heart frets against the Lord. Wealth makes many friends, but the poor is separated from his friend. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who speaks lies will not escape. Many entreat the favor of the nobility, and every man is a friend to one who gives gifts. All the brothers of the poor hate him. How much more do his friends go far from him? He may pursue them with words, yet they abandon him. He who gets wisdom loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will find good. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who speaks lies shall perish. So thank you for this morning. Hey, Scott, good to see you over there on Facebook Live. Yes, praise God. Marlene, good to see you. Caroline Prepper, good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Okay, so let's get started. So much going on in the news. I guess everybody heard that we have a new nominee for, yeah, no, no, no one in particular, Marcia. We have a new nominee for FBI director. Has everybody heard that? Hey, Karen, good morning. Good to see everybody. So what do you think about the choice for FBI director? Anybody, any thoughts on that? They picked Christopher Wray, W-R-A-Y. Somebody said, meh, smart move. Somebody else is saying. Sally is saying, who is he? Well, I have some information on him. He was the, do we have to wait for approval? Yes, Huey, we do, unfortunately. I guess, sounds good, no time to look at yet. I think what is happening is we're going to move ahead with him. He was somebody that was the assistant AG before. He was put in quickly, bipartisan. Everybody loves him. So that means that, as usual, the Democrats are going to object to him. But we should be able to get him in, whether it's by, having people vote or just a simple minority. So we'll see. But anyway, he was the assistant AG. He headed the DOJ Criminal Division from 2003 to 2005. Good morning, Carrie. Good to see you. He represented Chris Christie in the Bridgegate. Yes, Marlene, I know. That's something that people aren't too thrilled about. He interviewed about 2 weeks ago with Sessions and Rosenstein at the time. Yeah, I know. Did he ever know a Russian? Could he be possibly related to a Russian? That's going to be the question, right? We'll see. We'll see how many Russians that pop up in his closet. I'm sure. He threatened to resign in 2004, along with, um, at the time, Comey and Mueller, because they were going to reinstate the warrantless surveillance. What's the story with White House lawyers face Clinton era legal trap? I'm not sure what that is, what you're talking about, Jamie, on that one. What's the story with White House lawyers face Clinton era legal trap? I'm not sure if you could maybe tell me a little bit more what you mean by that. Not sure what that means. And he also went to Yale Law School. So, he's been under Bush. Hey, Robert, good to see you. It had Russian dressing, yes, somewhere. Somewhere along the line, there's got to be a Russian in his past. But he was on, with Comey and also Mueller. So everybody loves Comey, right? And everybody loves Mueller. So maybe this will be an easier way to get somebody in to trap in Russian probe. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. What the White House lawyers? I don't know what you're exactly talking about. Maybe you can rephrase it or something. But I don't know how that anybody would there would be a problem with the Russian probe with the lawyers. I don't know what you mean by that. So hopefully Christopher Wray will get in and we'll have no problems and we'll just move on and he'll be a great guy. I think they're announcing that a day before Comey is scheduled to testify. And of course, they're making a huge deal about Comey testifying. Russian dressing together with blue cheese, all pasta tastes like cheese, macaroni if you eat in the dark. Yeah, but somehow it'll be a national security interest, right? Yeah, it'll be a far stretch if they try to find something. I think with him. Yeah, I know. Purple and the gold. How cute. I know. Trump is doing really well again. Thank you, Utah. I think one of the things that is of concern, and you never know again what is happening. Hey, Twix. Good morning. Good morning, Kim. Good to see you. You never know what's going to happen now because when stories come out, you just don't want to believe them anymore because there's so many rumors, especially from the Washington Post and the New York Times, and new stuff is coming out. Stuff came out yesterday. I don't know if you heard that the latest sort of rumor is that Trump enlisted Director of National Intelligence Daniel Coates to interfere with the Comey probe into Flynn. So now, like the day before, now they're, hey Brad, good to see you. Now they're trying to add to it and say, oh, he didn't talk to Comey about it, but he went to Coates and asked Coates to interfere. So we didn't do obstruction of justice with Comey necessarily now, but maybe we did that by asking Director Coates to interfere. And of course, there's no proof or anything else, but apparently, according to the rumor anyway, Coates looked into it and decided not to do anything about it. Yeah, don't buy it, Carrie said. I know. So, I think you just have to kind of wait and see now what's going on, what Coates is actually going to say, what Comey's actually going to say, because I think these newspapers and the news sites, they don't care if they tell you the truth anymore. They just absolutely don't care. There really isn't a truly reliable source anymore. Um, Investigating Eric Trump. Yeah, yeah. I'll get into that in a minute. Las Vegas gal. Yeah, Sessions. What they're saying about Sessions is that ever since he recused himself with the whole Russia probe, that now with the whole Russia probe, that there's been a lot of disagreements. There's been loud arguing in the White House between Trump and Sessions, and so it got so bad. Good morning. It got so bad that Sessions says, "Okay, I'll go ahead and resign if you want me to," and so I don't know if Trump is happy with Sessions or not, or if that's another rumor. It was. I know Sessions loud. I know. It was yesterday. I don't know if you watched with Sean Spicer in the press briefing, but they asked him, does President Trump still have confidence in Sessions? And his response was, I haven't spoken to him about that. Yeah, New York Times. I wouldn't trust anything out of New York Times and Washington Post because of the fact that they're doing whatever they can. Yeah, more fake news, Cully. I think so. I don't believe it either. Aw, that's too bad, Mike. Trump is ready to punch back at Comey testimony. I think so. And I think he's looking, to get a strong director of the FBI in there too. That's somebody that everybody's going to like, but somebody who's going to be really, you know, right there on it. There are many honorable journalists and news sources, Trump supporters, seeming to be projecting. No, I think you're projecting when you're generalizing right there. But I think you knew you were generalizing. Different personalities, but I think Sessions is loyal. Oh, absolutely. Okay, Utah. Not sure what that is, but what day is your day? But maybe that was written to Utah. It went by so fast. I think it's really funny too because with Sessions, he is really a very ethical person. Yes. Okay, Utah, and he is very loyal. It's something that I know a lot of people discussed and felt that he shouldn't recuse himself. But thank you, Miss B. But if you look at the ethics, I don't think he had a choice, and he was also, from what I understand, thanks, Huey. I also understand that he he went and talked to legal counsel, and legal counsel said you need to recuse yourself. Now we can't. We could look at that and say, um, we could look at that and just say, well, we legal counsel told you to do that, but you didn't have to do that. It's ethics and it's not the law, and you could have just gone ahead and not done that. But I think he did the right thing. I really do. And if there would be some question about it down the road here by the Democrats if we didn't do that. I know, Utah. Sometimes people just want attention, and sometimes you just can't give it to them. You got to go on with the important stuff. Yeah, it's okay. I don't really care. Um, so I do think Sessions did the right thing. I think it's been very onerous on this administration because he did that. Um, because Trump needs him. He needs to be able to talk to him. I think Rosenstein is maybe not as approachable, or maybe not somebody that Trump feels as comfortable with, perhaps, and therefore he's not able to go and talk strategy as he would like to. And I don't know why, though. If you believe the rumors, I'm not sure why that he would want to uh, yell at Sessions because of it or be upset with him. I think he would understand that it's something he had to do. Rogers and Coates just shredded the left message, Don said. Okay. And this morning, Director Coates is testifying. Yeah, it could be fake news, Marsha. Anything that you're hearing lately, I think you have to take with a grain of salt. The only thing about Sessions, though, is the fact that Sean Spicer did not answer straight out and say, yes, the president still has confidence in Attorney General Sessions. That was a little bit kind of, that you could maybe look at that and say there's something that I'm uncomfortable with that about. I think maybe there's something going on because Sean in the past, let's say for example with Steve Bannon, has always been able to come out and say, yes, the president thinks that he's doing a great job and he has confidence in him, or with Jared Kushner, but he didn't this time. And they are making a big deal about Comey. Somebody Utah brought that up. They are making a big deal. It's a big countdown, and they are trying to make a big deal out of Comey testifying. And again, as we talked about yesterday and the day before, probably Comey. The best thing that Comey could do is just to say nothing happened. I didn't report it because there was no obstruction of justice. I didn't think that there was, and so I just made some notes and went on. And I think that that would be the best thing for him to do. Now, there's rumors coming out that he went and told, I think it was Sessions or someone else, um, that I don't want to be alone with President Trump in a room again. I don't know what that means. I don't know why that would be an issue. Um, but maybe if it's true, I'm sure that he will discuss why he didn't want to be in a room alone with him. Maybe he could say, I thought maybe he would continue to talk to me about the Flynn matter, and I didn't want to discuss it anymore and didn't know how to tell him I don't want to discuss it. But yeah, I know, Kim, it's more or less a bunch of BS. It's just something that it sounds like there might be something there, and I think it's a way to get clicks, to get people to watch CNN and all of that. So. Yeah, probably major BS. Yeah. So, Thursday may just be a total bomb for those people on the left who are hoping for this, uh, big thing coming out of it. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. And it usually, I mean, it's kind of deflating, if you will, whenever the news gets that ramped up on the left. There's always, usually nothing happens. It just goes right down. So, well, Barbara, obviously they're just they're saying whatever they want to say, and I don't know how they get away with it so much. We're not calling them out on it on the right. We come out and we call them out on it with something like Kathy Griffin, which is what we should have done. But I think we should also call them out each and every time that they do something when it's just hyping it up. Coach just testified he was never pressured. Of course, that's what Kerry was saying. Coach just testified he was never pressured. If he had a note, show it or shut up. Well, they apparently, he may have had some notes, but that doesn't mean anything. When were the notes written? Were they written right after? Were they written during? Did you write it 2 days later to remind yourself, and you just wrote some things down? On the note, did it say the president has just obstructed justice, or I need to go to the DOJ because this is wrong? Anything like that? I doubt it. Dennis, you keep coming back. It's just like, what is wrong with you? If somebody blocks you, just don't come back. I mean, it's really easy. So anyway, so we'll have to see. Hey, good morning, Asher. Good to see you. If all of these people around them aren't corroborating, well, if you like to learn something. Don't come back as a troll and bother people. It's impolite. Thank you. So Rubio's an absolute snake, according to Kim. Why do you say that, Kim? I think Rubio, there was a big dinner last night, supposedly, that 6 of the people were supposed to meet last night. Rubio was one of them, and they were supposed to have dinner with the president. So I don't know how that went over. Didn't hear a thing about it. And I don't know, did anybody hear about what happened in Iran? It was kind of very quick in the news today. Trying to get Coates and Rogers to divulge info about Trump in the hearings right now. Yeah. Dennis, you can ask questions, but when you're just trying to be a nuisance and trying to get a rise out of people, that's different. And when you're being a troll. So if you're old enough to be in here, you're old enough to know when you're trolling people. Why do you why do you say ISIS drag queens, Brad? Yeah. So what happened was there were 2 simultaneous assaults that took place in Iran in the parliament. What happened was, were they disguised as women? Oh my gosh. How could you tell? I mean, were they covered up totally? I mean, that's they were suicide bombers, and they also had guns. Yes, 12 people were killed, Barbara, and there was 2 attacks at one time, like I said, and a third attack was stopped, and that happened about 10 a.m. I think local time, and it would have been about 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. And so that's again, people were saying, well, why did that happen? because I thought that ISIS wasn't against anybody in the Middle East. I thought we were just all going to get along in the Middle East or whatever. But you have the Shias, which are in Iran, and the Sunnis, which are like in Saudi Arabia and other places, and they hate each other. And that's why when people say, well, why can't you just take the refugees, let's say from Syria, and put them someplace else? There are different sects, sects, of of Islam, and you can't put them together. The Sunnis and the Shias don't work well together, and even within, let's say, the Sunnis and the Shia, they're different sects that they don't work they don't work well together at all. They don't get along, so it's not so easy. And that's why, like Saudi Arabia, people say, well, but there's so many units of housing there that they have in Saudi Arabia. Why not put them there? Because they don't get along. No, Dawn. sects. Well, Asher says about time the CIA attacks Iran. They probably do all the time, and we just don't know it. I mean, it's a constant thing that goes on. We have undercover things that we do, missions that we do, like having Baptists at a dance with liquor. I don't know about that, Barbara, but yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to say. Rubio was there to clean the pool, a Florida joke, Cully said. Oh, Cully, that's so funny. Hey, Amanda, good to see you. Um, and I got to ask people a question here. What's up with Ann Coulter? Did anybody hear what she did? Does anybody know the story around it? Does anybody know the story about Ann Coulter? Yeah, she joke for the people that believe CIA is ISIS. Okay, yeah, sure, I get it. Basically, what Ann Coulter did yesterday is that she came out after the incident in Paris, and she started putting down the NYPD. I don't understand that. She said that she tweeted out the Paris police are very macho, unlike the little girls on the NYPD. Only two shots fired. One hit the Muslim in the thorax. Where did that come from? I mean, I had no idea that she felt that way against the NYPD. What caused that? Does anybody know? She has sources. Yeah, it's very odd that she would say that. I mean, she's pretty much usually pro police. I know, weird, very weird. She has said some pretty unusual things lately. Ann Coulter, yeah, and I don't know what that's all about. I don't think so. She didn't come out, Brad, and say that she's been hacked. So yeah, I know, Asher. It's very strange. Menopause. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I could see where she would be upset, let's say, with the Berkeley police. Maybe she has been surveilled, Sally said. Is she Russian? Could be. Could be. At least she may know some Russians. And these days, that'll get you in trouble. Yeah, she has been a little weird in saying things for a while. And I really don't get it. I don't know. And I don't know, maybe she's got a new book coming out or something, but why the NYPD? And these are the people that protect her, so I'm not sure why she would want to come out and say something like that. I thought maybe somebody would know a little bit more about the story. They didn't say any reasons why. You think she got on the Trump train to sell her book? Maybe. I don't think she's running for Congress or Senate that I know of. Maybe she called for something and they didn't come fast enough. I don't know. I have no idea. I just thought it was extremely odd of her. Again, being sort of pro cop. We did have Lindsey Graham coming back out recently, and everybody this weekend was kind of jumping on the well, Trump shouldn't tweet train. And Lindsey Graham was talking to Brett Baer yesterday of Fox News, and he said that Trump created the conditions for a special counsel, and he advised the president to start listening to his lawyers. So again, we have another person that comes out against President Trump. Well, there's always a live police pursuit somewhere in California. Where is it at, Utah? L.A.? Yeah, Lindsey Graham, just takes, along with John McCain, they take every opportunity they can to come out and say something about the president. They can never come out and say something really nice. I mean, I think Lindsey tried the other day saying, well, there's no evidence of any collusion. So he tried. But, Soros paid trolls, yes. I know, Robert. That police pursuit is probably somewhere in the around L.A., Robert, don't you think? There's no doubt. There's always one going on there. No mad cow disease reporting these days, Sally. It's true. Yeah. So he did say the anti-Muslim Islam march in Poland. No, I didn't see that, Mike. I missed that one. Hey, Marley, how are you? Rob just dropped. Guess it's him. Rob went out to look and find out if his car was still there. It is RIC. Epic. Ah, okay. So Lindsay said, I've seen no evidence of collusion between President Trump and the Russians, and I've looked really close. And I bet he has, because he's got nothing else to do except look and find out what the president has done that he can, get in there with the Democrats and talk about, I'm sure. He said, but the reason we have special counsel is because Trump suggested through an interview with NBC that the reason he fired Director Comey was because of the Russian investigation. So now he's trying to blame, the fact that Trump said something about why he fired Comey being because of the Russian investigation. That's why that now there's a special counsel. So, which I think is absolutely absurd. But of course, it goes along with the narrative on the left. So, need to move to Poland. At least they care about their people. Really, Amanda? If you guys, if you're in there in Periscope, you haven't swiped and invited your followers, please go ahead and do that. We're like almost at the halfway point, and maybe you can invite other people in to see, get the last half of the news here, the last half hour. Um, I don't know if you're following what's happening in Qatar or Qatar, whichever one you want to say. But now it's what's happening in Qatar is being blamed on. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Being blamed on the Russians. So the U.S. investigators, it's being said that, but there is a connection with Trump and Russians, which is not clean contact. There's a connection between Russia and a lot of people. Doesn't mean anything. I know, man. I might have to do one tonight. Maybe we'll do one tonight or tomorrow. I still have the book to finish reading that I started and right before I got sick. So it's a really interesting book that I can read out of. Hey, Gary, good to see you. So the U.S. investigators believe that the Russian hackers breached Qatar's state news agency and planted fake news. Gosh, I didn't realize that they had the exact same problem over there with fake news that we did, or that they were talking about Russia as much as we are. Don, I can't even repeat what you're saying over there. Went to party once, think you had Russian vodka. Okay, Barbara, then you can't run for any office in government, so you're out. You've got Russian connections and you're done. And along with the Qatar, they said the U.S. officials say that the Russian goal appears to be to cause rifts among the U.S. and its allies. There's no fake news from Trump, and you know that. So it's about how much Russia means and so, to you. Can we move on? Yeah, exactly. No, we can't move on. That's the thing. We're not going to ever be able to move on. Can any? Asher said, "Can't everyone just shut their pie holes?" God, the need to talk is rampant. Yeah, and you have every pundit coming out and talking about that on CNN, especially. I mean, my gosh, CNN is really taking this Russia narrative for a ride. I mean, this is. I think they've put every hope that they have on the Russian narrative, and so once this is kind of dies down a little bit, especially if tomorrow if we find out Comey has nothing to say, then what are they going to talk about? Oh, so Freebird thinks that Coulter may be talking to about the man who drove the car through the crowd and terrorism. But what are you supposed to do, as a police officer there? And also, if you think about it, they're not in charge of terrorism, and they get the reports from the federal government. Is what I'm trying to say in regards to terrorism. But where Utah? Because California is pretty big. It's a pretty big state. So where is the? Oh, in LA. Yeah, it's yes. Okay, that's what I thought. It always starts in LA. But will it ever die down? They hate our president. No, Miss B, I don't think it will, because if it dies down only slightly, they'll bring it back up, and you'll have people like Maxine Waters who will claim that even though if you don't find anything, there's got to be something there, so he should be impeached. She'll never let it die. She'll make up. She's doing it now. She's making up things right now. If they ask her, well, why, what do you have? What evidence do you have? Do you have anything to show that he should be impeached? Her answers is typically no, but not yet. So it's okay to convict people. Maxine needs to go to Maxine. Yeah, Maxine is 78 years old and still wanting to run again. I don't get it. Still wanting to go for another 4 years. Impeach Maxine, the unimpeachable term limits. Yeah, I mean, the governor of California is out because he's termed out now, which is great. I mean, this is like his fourth time in office. So they really need that for everybody. Just get him out and let's go. Crazy lady's the only word she can remember is impeach. I know. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. No, I can't speak slowly. I'm just speaking at a normal rate. So sorry. Yeah, term limits is the way to go. Asher said Republicans need to stop trying to explain to the left like they're going to change their minds. That's true. That's absolutely true, Asher. We constantly have this need on the right to try to appease the left and try to win them over and try to say, if we just do this, the left is going to like us or the public is going to join us. No, they're not. And I don't know when the right is ever going to learn that. Robert came back. Was it your car, Robert? We all said that you probably went to see if it was your car in LA that was stolen. Yeah, if we spent more time not worrying about the left and spent more time worrying about what the American public wants and how we get that done, we'd be better off. And I don't know, when we're going to do a LA child. My gosh, Nancy, there you are. Nancy, I'm wearing your shirt. And we were just talking about what's happening in LA. We didn't know if that was Robert's car that had been stolen or your car that's on a high-speed chase right now. Good morning, Beck. Good to see you. Everybody's been wondering where Nancy's been. She's been away for so long. It's not LA without LA child. Working summer kids. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a handful. That's really a handful. We were just talking about Qatar, Nancy, and we were talking about how that everything that's happening, the rift that's happening over there right now in Qatar, is all because of the Russians. They're actually saying that the Russians hacked and made fake news report, and that's why everybody's so upset. Yes, FISA this morning, nothing to see, Section 702, and they're saying we should just go ahead and we shouldn't amend it or anything else. It's perfect the way it is. And as long as you keep it out of the United States and you're looking at people in foreign countries, yes. I know, who knew? But the fact of the matter is, we have surveilled Americans in America under FISA court, and there have been some things that have happened in the FISA court. I wrote about it about a week ago. If you go and check out SusanKnowles.com, where the FISA court even said that former President Obama had overstepped. And so I know it's easy to get up and say, well, you should trust us. There should be no amendments. I think what should be in that FISA agreement, and I don't know the act, what's in it. I really don't know the whole thing. But there ought to be some penalties. 20 million citizens surveilled, Carter said right now. Wow. Yeah, there should be some penalties for people who break the law under the FISA court. I mean, look at what Susan Rice is being accused of, and some other people going there and just getting whatever you want because you want it, getting names because you want them, and then what are you doing with those names? I mean, it's been breached. So you have to. I think there's got to be some penalties, or we need to do some amendment, and that should go in the amendment. It really should. Because right now it's like, oh well, and yet the Clintons walk free. I know, they always do. It's just amazing, and we sit here and we talk. Even with the Trump charity, I don't know. We were going to talk about that, but there's a claim made by Forbes magazine, or Forbes, saying that President Trump's charity foundation took $100,000 and funneled them through the Eric Trump Foundation to financially benefit the Trump organization. But if you kind of look at it, he basically took some of that money for expenses because they hosted an annual golf tournament at Trump-owned golf courses for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital research. Um, they raised like $11 million over 10 years. Yeah, they have no proof of it. And what Trump is saying, or what is coming out, is that $100,000 is, for some of the expenses. But they're saying, well, but you told everybody that all of that money would go towards, for St. Jude's research. I'm sorry, but I don't know anybody who puts on a charity event and where every single dime goes towards that event. I mean, it's unheard of. Even the Red Cross. I mean, all of these people have administrative expenses that they take out of it. There's only one organization that I know of. Yeah, there are expenses. Only one organization I know, it's Mercury One, that Glenn Beck has. They don't take out a dime for expenses, but they tell you that. But he also doesn't put on charitable events like this, where you're going to have food, you're going to have to pay people who work there, or you're going to have it catered, something. You're going to have expenses. Clinton's only donated 3%. Yeah. And everything else went back to them. But that's okay. That's perfectly fine. They said the report also alleges that during the 10 years it ran, over $500,000 in donations was redonated to other charities. You have to show the big money a good time, so they open their wallets, and that costs money. Yes, Beck, that's true. And I mean, any outside that has expenses, even with donations, yeah, there are always expenses involved. Always. And it said that, like I said, over 500,000 in donations was redonated to other charities. Some of the charities had connections to members of the Trump family, and four of those organizations used Trump golf courses for their own tournaments. So there you go again. I mean, the Clintons could have done anything, and it would have been perfectly fine with their charity, but Donald Trump has some connections to getting this money, and people that are family members, and if it's legitimate, I don't know what the problem is. Exactly. If the Girl Scouts can give to Planned Parenthood, what's the problem? And what's crazy about that, Barbara? If you tell parents that that happens, they get extremely upset. They don't want to look at the realities that their daughters in Girl Scouts could possibly be doing what they do, and that money could possibly be going to the Planned Parenthood through that. It's just amazing. Jennifer said, no matter what the president does, the media is going to have a problem with it. He could come up with a cure for cancer, and they would claim he was taking away doctors' jobs. Yeah, no matter what. No matter what he does, he's never going to win. And, when you think about that, this is going to go on for 4 to 8 years. This is never going to stop. They are never, ever going to like this man. Yeah, no more Girl Scout cookies for me either. Yeah, MSM will not speak of Clinton Foundation taking in money and only 9.3% going to charity. Yeah. Asher says she doesn't believe any of the stories against President Trump. I know it's hard to believe it. You want to be able to, even with the president, even though if you really like him, you want to watch him and make sure that he's doing what he says he will do, and also you want to make sure it's constitutional. And now you can't even be assured that he's doing that, even if you're somebody who is negative towards the president, because the media, it is all fake news, so you can't get anything from them, and you can't even, who can you go to get that? $4 a box, I say no more. Well, Beck, they need that money because they're sending it to Planned Parenthood. Yeah, Coley said expenses come first, and every dollar after that goes to charity. Look how much they gave. But again, parents get really upset if you talk to them about the Girl Scouts and money going to Planned Parenthood. I mean, they don't want to hear it. And there is a Christian organization that Alveda King is associated with that they could put their children into, but they don't want to do it. They want their children to be in Girl Scouts, and they think it's very commendable that they're out there raising money selling these cookies. And it is, and it would be great. Yeah, your daughter-in-law got mad at you. Yeah, it would be great if the money wasn't going to Planned Parenthood. But, I mean, how do you allow your children to be involved in giving money to an organization that aborts children? It's not the children's fault. They have no idea what's going on. But the parents, when they do find out and they're told, it's their obligation. Yeah, Aldous said, we don't have that here. You're fighting Trump so hard, we know he's doing good. I believe in Trump. That's not all Planned Parenthood does, though. No, but that's most of what Planned Parenthood does. They do very little as far as women's health is concerned. And there are figures if anybody wants to go do the research. I've looked at them before. The amount of abortions they do are also on the increase, while everything else is on the decline. And so, I mean, I don't know how you have a clear conscience having your children participate in that. If you yourself are against abortions, you are helping that. I'm starting to think they should keep enjoying Planned Parenthood and not have kids. Nancy said, makes no sense. Told Mary Kay to reconsider the badge. Expenses come off the top. Asher said, back on the charities. Yes. You feel mean? They try to talk everybody into getting an abortion. And they don't offer any the sonograms or anything that I know of. Just got my JM Bullion deliver. What did you get? Your delivery. What's in your delivery? We sponsor for entrepreneurs, silver bars. Oh, nice. Oh, I see. Somebody, Miss B said, we kill our babies while extremists have multiple wives and dozens of children. No, that's not true, and you know that. There are a lot of government programs that pay for children. So just, yes, we don't want to pay for abortions, but we do pay for government programs to help children. So you can't generalize like that. It's trendy. Yeah, exactly, Asher. Having your children in Girl Scouts is trendy. They offer birth control options and counseling. No, not slackers. Those are your terms. Not no one here said slackers. That's you saying that. And Planned Parenthood, when you go in there, I mean, they don't talk to you about much in regards to what they do offer. Except abortion. I mean, I guess if people already know that you could go there and get birth control, they'll give you birth control. But they're also going to talk to you if you're already pregnant. They're not going to talk to you about any other things that you could do other than abort your child if you're coming there for help. In the way I understand it. So I mean, I think, and it's been proven that a lot of women who do see the baby don't choose to go through with an abortion. And so, that to me should always be something that is offered, but you don't see that being offered. And you have a lot of these clinics now and then they're not getting the federal funding like Planned Parenthood is, that are trying to offer women an ability to see their child and get treatment that way and take care of their child during pregnancy so that they can have their child and not have an abortion. We need more of those. I think we need more programs on the right that people will do that people will donate money to, that women can go to these non-abortion clinics and get help. Yeah, we have dog rescues. We need abortion rescues. In California, one thing that they've started for people who it used to be a really bad problem that a lot of people in California would have their babies and then just leave them someplace. Unfortunately, some of them would end up in dumpsters. Some of them would die in trash cans and bathrooms and things like that. Just horrible, horrible things. And they passed along California that you can go and give your baby to, let's say, a hospital, and there no questions asked. You can just turn your baby over, and that's fine, and they'll take your baby no problem. And which gives them no ask, no tell. It gives you a better. Shauna, floods in Florida. Oh my gosh. They can leave them at the hospitals and fire stations here too. Yeah, Marlene, it's a good option, because if you are someone who doesn't want your child, you have an option. You don't have to kill your baby. And as I said, that people on the right they need to step up and have more programs to offer and put more money towards that and try to get maybe perhaps more government funding for that. Jennifer said, already know that you can go, they only provide abortion. They do not provide prenatal care. It's a money-making scam. If you don't want a child there, are kind of septic out there. Yeah. I mean, Planned Parenthood, you can spin it any way you want to, and the left can spin it any way they want to, but it is absolutely, for abortions. Make adoption more affordable. Yeah, I mean, Barbara, I've never gone through the adoption process. I don't know what it's like. I don't know. I hear a lot of people. If you go through the abortion process with the city or the state, I think there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. But I don't know how expensive that is. Tropical type storm came through. All barns around me flooded. That's terrible, Shauna. I was adopted. Screen adopters better. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of children. There are a lot of people out there who want children. They want to adopt children. Give them the opportunity. If you don't want your child, rather than aborting a child, adopt your child out. So I just think that there should be more programs, but their hands are tied. They're told you can't talk to people about not having an abortion. And in other news, I don't know if you heard the other day that Julian Assange is upset because of what happened with Reality Winner. He's upset because he felt like the reporter should not have turned over that information about Reality Winner. So he's really, really upset that this is going to sort of chill people like her coming forward in the future. Asher said conservatives need to have more children and homeschool them. So again, people look at, I know, Robert, everybody looks at Julian Assange sometimes as a big hero because he gives out all this information that we wouldn't have. And what they don't realize sometimes that he's not on our side per se. He is on the side of exposing governments no matter who they are. So if it happens to be us, he will. If it happens to be against us, he'll do that too. So, he's not loyal to the United States. Winner was anti-American. She was yeah. She's, Bernie supporter, said everything she could negative about the president. I don't know how she got hired there. Jennifer said if you're a single adult and even if you have a good job in the state of Kentucky, you can't adopt a child if you're not married. I didn't know that about Kentucky. Asher said adoption is so much legal expense and paperwork, and it's exhausting. Yeah, Winter, I don't know what they're going to say about her. I know the parents are trying to come out and stand up for her, but it's kind of hard to, I don't know what they're going to allege. Maybe that, since she was a veteran, maybe they'll try to make something up with that. I have no idea. Give veterans a bad name again, thanks to her, if that's the case. Let's hope not. Yeah, she was a contractor. I just don't know how she got the clearance that she got, saying the things that she got. So, LA Child, your children are adopted. You went through the process. Dawn, that's so silly. Was it expensive? Was it a long, drawn out process, or what was your experience with it? It's always nice to talk to somebody that has gone through the adoption process and how they felt about it. I won't tell you how much, but was out of control. Okay, so pretty expensive. Wow. And was it a long process? Did it take months, years? What was how did that go? Same like Hollywood uses. Oh, jeez. Yeah, well that wasn't cheap. We tried to adopt a lot of hoops classes and would cost about $20,000. Cully said, "Wow, about 9 months. Wow." Utah said 20,000 is speaking low. Is a low. Wow. That's crazy because most people cannot afford that. God bless all who adopt. My adopted friends love that they were chosen. I know, Shauna, that's really good. I think it's great. I think when people adopt children, it shows you that it is just like Shauna said. You are chosen. Moved her here in last trimester, so we got to enjoy his last trimester. Wow. The only thing that would make me nervous is if the birth mother changed her mind. That would be scary. She was turned away from abortion. Thank God. So many kids are aborted. He's a true miracle. Yeah. I have a friend who was foster mom to two and adopted both. Oh, that's so great, Sally. I've worked with kids and again in foster care, and sometimes their stories and their lives are not good at all. And if anybody could adopt, oh, Bill, your parents adopted 3 out of 4 of your kids. That's great. Late 40s didn't have the cash. I will foster newborns. Oh, wow, when he's 18. We'll say that my 2 friends that were adopted wanted to know where they came from. Yeah, and what do people feel about that? Do you feel that you should tell your children that they're adopted? Are you going to tell them that? Would you want them to know their birth parents? Records are sealed. Okay. Not until the child is ready. Yeah. I think that oh, that's terrible. 90% plus of abortions done because a child has Down syndrome. Very tragic. Wow. Speaking of that, I saw a quote. Oh, Hugh said his ex-wife was adopted. a quote from Kathy Griffin back in 2009, who was making fun of Sarah Palin's baby. So this is a person who said that she doesn't go after children. Our birth parents are educated and awesome. We're teens at the time. Oh wow, that's very nice. Yeah, I think when a child reaches 18, honestly, they ought to be able to make that decision whether or not to go and search for their birth parents. Daughter has Down syndrome. They felt relieved, but thought of those people as close acquaintances. I want to move to Puerto Rico, where adoption is easier. Jennifer said. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just yeah. Kathy is garbage, pretty much. So when she goes after people's children, yeah, she called Sarah Palin's child retarded. Did anyone see the punks in Philly attack the mentally challenged man? I think was that about a few months back. Are you talking about? Yeah, I know. Kathy Griffin. I don't know what has happened to her. I really don't. And going after people's children like that. I'm an adult. I want to know my past. The ceiling only protects process. I just want to know the story. Maybe you should go on that show that they have. That goes about trying to find adopted children's parents, birth parents, and their siblings. And I think you could go through ancestry.com and find a lot of information. You might be able to find those people on your own. You'd have to have some information, and maybe your parents could help you find your birth parents if they're still alive. Uh, yeah, that's tough with sexual abuse in the family. One last bit of news before we go. I, my article is out today on Kamala Harris. You should go and take a look at that. How rude she was to the DHS head John Kelly yesterday. He was trying to answer questions that she gave him. She wouldn't let him respond. She kept interrupting. Hey, Monique. Yeah, you can listen. You can listen to the replay. Uh, she was just totally interrupting him. Wouldn't let him speak. He was saying to her, if you'll let me speak, I can tell you. And she's like, "Excuse me." Keep your eye on Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is she wants to be president, and there's talk about her running in 2020 against this president. She's rude. She's abrasive. She was the U.S. Attorney General in California, and she's now senator, U.S. senator. She is pro-immigration, mostly whether you're legal or illegal. She's pro-sanctuary city, and she's going to be she's going to be one of those people that if she decides to run, the Democrats are going to throw all the money they can behind her. She's obnoxious. Really wish she wasn't from California, but she is, and she's trying to make a name for herself right now, and that's why she's going against Kelly the way she did. She is atrocious. Yep. I know, Barbara. They're going to put people like Elizabeth Warren and people like Kamala Harris up there. And they're all, again, they're sitting on these committees because they want to make a name for themselves. That's why people are saying, Nancy, like, please run for president. Please, please. Yeah, no, no, no. Thanks for the heads up. I know. Yeah, keep your eye on her. And that's why I keep trying to do reports on her and articles on her so you can see who she is, that you know what she's trying to do. When in California, she's trying to save over 200 and like $35 million that the feds will cut if they do away, with sanctuary cities. So she's fighting that tooth and nail, and that's why she's coming out against Kelly and was being so obnoxious because they don't want the police in California to work with the feds in turning over illegal immigrants. California is going bankrupt over the fact that we take care of illegal immigrants and everything they want. They use the ER as they would a doctor's office. Anybody here who's here illegally just goes to the emergency room anytime that they want to get health care. No. Monique said, can you imagine Harris versus Michelle Obama and Warren versus Hillary? No. No, no, thank you, no. Those are nightmares. Yes, we talked about the new FBI director, Christopher Wray, in the very beginning. So you might want to go back and listen to the replay. If you would, everybody, please share this, retweet it if you will. I would really appreciate it. Everybody over on YouTube, if you would please give me a thumbs up and share it, I would really appreciate it. Uh, yeah, Kamala, Kamala. Kamala. If you go to SusanKnowles.com, just look at my article up there today and you'll get some more information on her. There's also the video of her talking down to Kelly. See you later, Hugh. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Facebook Live. Please share this. Thank you. Everybody on Periscope, thank you so much. Have a great day. I might be on later. You never know. Keep your notifications on. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for retweeting, everyone. Everybody on Facebook Live, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless you, and maybe see you later today. You never know.